Hello, myself Sunil Ramprasad. Here basically are discussing one of the topic that is management. So here one of the person told actually what actually the management is. Then he told that one quality person basically do the management of quality task. One coder basically do the management of coding basically. One manager basically do the management of entire task is supposed to be complete at any cost basically. Then basically the senior delivery basically head or basically the software delivery head, he is responsible for each and every projects in the software company is supposed to be delivered basically. As in that is a small company, so there would be only one software delivery head. So he would be responsible for each and every projects is supposed to be delivered. That is the management of software delivery head. CEO means everything basically. Software is also supposed to be delivered, plus he is supposed to be responsible for each and every business basically supposed to be come inside the software company. If software company are not getting any of the projects, then basically he will be responsible. So it's very dangerous task of the CEO and the vice president basically, because he is directly connected with the business basically, business development basically. Here basically we have taken example of many business development. That server example is we have already taken. Then basically the example we have taken of this video basically from in previous video basically we have created lots of business development projects basically, which is connected with the data science project. That is also one of the business development basically. If one of the person told that basically what you are doing through the video basically, through video basically, if anybody sees this video basically, he will get the idea and he will basically develop the business development basically. In this basically lots of new projects are basically there of for the software company that basically does not exist in the software industry only basically. If he will do that basically, then basically he might earn lots of money basically, but that required lots of investment basically. It's not so easy to do the this type of project basically. So one of the person to, because normal so CRM project, ERP project, payroll project, this project, that project, each and every project basically are already done basically. But this type of project basically never basically have thought also basically. There are many projects basically which have never been done the analysis also basically. Never done the analysis also. So you can just imagine basically if the project data is not analyzed basically, then basically one of the person told that from data basically you can do the creation of projects. Then one of the person told that data basically how you are going to get, that is the thing basically, from which ideas basically you are going to get the data. Before data the ideas are basically coming into them, and data are equal to what, set of words basically. So here basically in previous video basically, in lots of previous video basically we have seen one thing basically, that is this thing basically. One paragraph have one owner basically. So this paragraph basically, that is once upon a time I was walking down in France, one of the city. There I got one incidence. What is this actually? This is actually the project of the entire city basically. Entire world basically is doing this project basically. You can just imagine basically. So one of the person told that buildings are same, everything construction industries are same. Then how they basically change the entire paragraph only basically. From that cities, without any disturbing any of the cities basically, how they do the projects basically. So that is the basically the environment basically. They basically entire change the entire construction area only basically. How they do? Through the energies basically. Through the energies only basically they change the entire construction buildings basically. You can just imagine basically the, and that basically is one thing, and the power supply basically which is getting passed, and power supply basically they are how basically getting the power supply, that is through cities only basically. Through cities only basically they are getting the power supply. One of the person with the power supply is not there basically, why you are basically changing the construction areas. So cities are basically the power supply are getting from where basically, sea water is there, but sea water is also basically taking data from where basically, they are also taking data from cities only basically. Lots of people says that you are basically telling wrong basically. The data are coming from seawater. The seawater, it's coming from seawater only. But seawater is basically getting data from where? That is from sea only, na? The cloud basically gets generates. The system basically is like this. The cloud gets generates, and then basically the seawater gets takes that data. Each and everything happens. Then basically the power supply company do the process. Like this, basically lots of process basically are there. That is different. That is basically lengthy process. That basically we also don't know basically how basically the power supplies are getting generated. But here the main is the people basically don't go to the up to the sea level basically. They basically gets the data from sea water only basically. So sorry, the cities only basically. So from cities only basically they get the data. So you can just imagine basically the creation stuff basically. So one of the person told that the creation basically it's so toughly created, but if you do the management basically the tough task basically becomes very easy. One of the person told that each city basically have multiple project managers. One of the person told that if chief minister want to ask something basically about the cities, he basically ask whom basically. He basically ask his secretary. His secretary basically ask whom basically. He is going to ask to that project manager basically. So that manager basically is having the each and every information of the cities basically. So he have the total authority to get the data, not to write the data, only to read the data basically. Because write data basically he can't do. Why? Because he is not a doctor, he is not a judge, he is not a vakil, he is not a construction manager basically, he is not a mall manager, he is not a supervisor, he is not a software manager, he is not a project manager, he is not a software company owner, he is not a big level software company's owner, he is not a company's owner, he is not a factory's owner, he is just a manager basically of the city basically, which is reading the data, which he is getting the data. And one of the person told that he is getting the data, what basically is the authority that he is getting the data true, that basically he have to discuss with the set of groups basically who are into this business basically. So how the data basically are supposed to be verified, how basically the data are, so for that basically proper authorized channel basically you have to create, proper authorized. For one of the example, one of the person told that basically how you get the words basically, that this word basically is supposed to be spelled like this, that is basically the dictionary na basically, which are the authorized dictionary basically, they are responsible for the words basically. So like this basically you have to create the proper channels basically, from that basically you will get the proper data. So that basically you only have to do basically, or basically if the ready-made things basically is created, then basically you have to use that. For that basically you have to verify that also basically. Before using that basically you have to verify each and everything basically, because you will be responsible for giving the data. It's like that. So like that basically the stuffs are there. So like this basically things are basically connected. So you can just imagine basically. So like this basically you can just imagine the stuff basically. So one of the person told that to become a manager basically is also not an easy task basically. Here's basically the manager is one person basically who is handling the entire city basically. So he will be responsible for entire stuff basically. So you can just imagine basically it's so easy. So see basically this everything. This story basically paragraph is one management basically, which management says that one word basically is given to France, one word is given to America, one few words basically are given to this, and to create one word basically few this word only basically how many things are basically 1,000 cities, then basically 100 types of waters created, then prime minister, presidents, marriage done, human souls created, like this. See the stuff basically which is created just to create few words only basically. So this basically is the management basically, because without management basically you can't finish this entire project basically. There are basically lots of more than 6 crore project basically which is ongoing of the software company basically, of the software company in India basically. Who is responsible for the software company? That are big level companies like TCS, Infosys, Capgemini, Accenture, like this company. In next video basically we are going to see that.